I'm a 43-year-old man who has always strived to provide for my 38-year-old wife, our two young children, ages 3 and 5, and my mother-in-law. I believe I've done my best to support our family. Over the years, I've worked tirelessly to improve our circumstances. I earned a second bachelor's degree and recently completed a master's in a STEM field, all while juggling 2 full-time jobs during my studies. I also supported my wife in completing her education, which led to a healthcare career earning around $70,000 annually, with strong growth potential. However, after our children were born, she chose to leave her job to focus on being a stay-at-home parent. Initially, this was challenging while I was finishing my master's, but once our youngest turned 3 and my career advanced, we managed comfortably on my income of approximately $150,000 a year, plus bonuses. This past year, my wife seemed overwhelmed, so despite working mostly from home, I hired a daytime nanny to assist with household tasks and childcare for our youngest while our oldest attends school. My typical day starts at 5:30 or 6 o'clock a.m. I prepare the house, make breakfast, get our oldest ready for school, and drop them off before the nanny arrives at 8 o'clock a.m. Recently, my job shifted to fully remote work for 2 months, which has been convenient but demanding, with constant meetings managing global teams and industry projects. After a month and a half of this routine, I noticed my wife's day doesn't begin until around 10 o'clock a.m. I confirmed with my mother-in-law and the nanny that this is her usual schedule, with slight variations. She wakes up, prepares a quick meal, browses her phone, or shops online. While I'm grateful I can provide this lifestyle, especially since we both grew up with limited means, it's starting to frustrate me. I'm aware of the possibility of postpartum depression, the challenges of parenting, and my own shortcomings as a husband. Still, I've ensured everything is taken care of and more. My wife asked me to handle the household finances, so I manage all bills, ours, hers, and my mother-in-law's medical and car expenses. I also maintain the house, appliances, vehicles, and pets. Yet she often suggests my life is easier than hers. When I try to share my struggles or unwind, she turns it into a competition. If I've had a tough day, hers was worse. If my feet ache from work travel, her standing in the kitchen with a toddler is far more taxing. For years, she's claimed I've ruined her life and opportunities, but when I bring this up, she denies it or deflects. My mother-in-law has noticed changes in both of us and mentioned it to me. I've grown closer to my children and find myself confiding in our dogs more than my wife. I feel like I'm in emotional survival mode, teetering on the edge of chasing career success or drowning my sorrows in alcohol. I know some might call me weak, but I'm not a robot. Beyond my kids, all I want is to feel valued and loved by the person I prioritize. I'm sure I'll hear from stay-at-home parents, and I respect their perspective. I grew up in a single-parent home, so I understand their challenges. But with a nanny 5 days a week for one toddler and my mother-in-law's help, can anyone say my wife faces the typical struggles of a stay-at-home parent? My single-parent friends and colleagues don't think so. This may read like fiction to some, but it's my reality. Thank you for your responses. For context, I've never been unfaithful. I work in an industry with many women, but I'm transparent about my job. My wife has access to my work schedules and emails if she wants to check, yet she still doesn't fully understand what I do. We've tried with both her family and mine to encourage her to seek therapy, but she refuses or avoids it. Unlike me, who grew up with a single mother and limited contact with my father, she was raised in a stable 40-year-plus marriage. I've tried discussing everything, including my feelings, but every conversation turns into a contest of who has it worse. I'm starting to question what I'm getting from this marriage. Beyond my amazing kids, there's little left. Our intimacy has been nearly non-existent, especially in the last year. I've tried to be understanding, assuming it's due to depression or other issues, but I can't help wondering if I'm unappealing or inadequate. Despite opportunities, I've stayed faithful because I truly love my wife and want only her. To be fair, she does contribute. She prepares meals for everyone, me, the kids, my mother-in-law, and even the nanny. She handles laundry for herself and the kids, though she rarely folds or puts it away. I do my own laundry and send work clothes to the dry cleaner. She manages the pantry and fridge, while I arrange grocery shopping and deliveries. She cleans the house and bathrooms about half the time, with my mother-in-law, the nanny, or me covering the rest. Before the nanny, my mother-in-law was her main support, But when health issues arose, I hired extra help to ease the load, especially during her treatments. Mini update. I showed my wife this post and the comments, which led to an argument. She left to stay with her sister, and I've been a single parent since. My routine hasn't changed much, except for saying goodnight to the kids alone. Thank you for the support. It's been overwhelming but appreciated. This started as a vent, but it's grown far beyond that. I'm still responding to comments and DMs. Sitting here with my dog and a drink while everyone sleeps. It's humbling to seek validation from strangers online, but I'm grateful for the kindness and even the humor about ruining lives. Update 1. Thank you for the comments and messages. My original post was raw, written after another argument. To clarify, after both kids were born, my wife was screened for postpartum depression at their pediatrician's office. She scored well but was recommended therapy, which she refused. Her scores improved after our second child, but she still declined help. My mother-in-law and nanny stepped in to support her. Some may judge me for staying, but I'm not ready to give up, partly for our kids. I know suffering in silence isn't healthy, but a bitter divorce could scar them. I've planned for every scenario, consulting 3 lawyers and preparing a draft settlement. I'm ready to prioritize the kids' well-being but have a backup plan for court if needed. I'm stubborn, enduring this for my children's stability and my mother-in-law's care, hoping my wife will eventually try therapy. Thank you for the support, and apologies for the long post. Writing this during Men's Mental Health Awareness Month feels fitting, as I need an outlet beyond therapy. Update 2. To summarize, my wife left, returned as if nothing happened, and continued centering everything on herself. Nothing has changed, and I'm mentally exhausted, knowing things won't improve, but I'm holding on for the kids. She tried taking the children to her sisters, but I, along with her family, opposed it. It wasn't fair to uproot the kids or burden her sister's family, who already have 3 children. The kids stayed home. After about a week, my wife returned, walking in with her bags like she'd just run an errand. During a busy work call, she interrupted, ranting about my lack of care for her health. My mother-in-law intervened, pulling her away, while the nanny kept our youngest out of the chaos. That night, after the kids were asleep, we talked, argued, cried, and drank. One thing led to another, and we ended up in bed. I hoped it was a step toward reconciliation, but the next morning she spoke only about her struggles. How hard it was staying with her family, how lucky I am to have our house and job. She compared her hardships to everyone else's easy lives, despite our similar upbringings. That morning broke me, and I've been spiraling since. I tried discussing my stress and fears, but it turned into another shouting match. I asked if my well-being mattered to her. Her response, "We all have problems, you need to figure it out." I barely recognize her anymore. She's not the woman I married or vowed to raise our kids with. Since then, I've grown distant, sleeping in my office on the couch or with the kids. Her routine remains unchanged, waking at 10 a.m., chatting with mom groups, cooking while my mother-in-law and nanny handle the kids. Divorce wouldn't even disrupt much beyond more takeout. My biggest fear is losing my children. Like many I've connected with here, I'll keep smiling and suffering in silence. Final update. At a Father's Day dinner, my wife told our therapist and family I don't do enough. I had her served with divorce papers on the spot. She's furious and now acting like the perfect wife, but I'm done. To clarify, I didn't earn 2 bachelor's and a master's while working 2 jobs simultaneously. I completed my first bachelor's in the early 2000s. Later, I earned a second bachelor's online, taking 2 classes per semester while working 2 jobs, 36 to 48 hours at a hospital, 32 to 40 at a retail store, to cover my and my wife's tuition before kids. After entering my industry, I pursued my master's while working 1 job. Working 2 jobs during school isn't unusual, or so I thought. My wife has a job but rarely works. Her last shift was an 8-hour day 5 months ago. Her supportive manager offers flexible scheduling, but she chooses not to work, yet complains about her career being on hold. I've done everything to help her return to work. Hiring a nanny, having my mother-in-law move in, working from home. Yet here we are. I'm in therapy for my demanding job, as I can't get support at home. I've tried addressing her one-upping, but it persists. My mother-in-law moved in to help my wife and receive her bi-monthly treatments, while my sister-in-law's family lives with her parents to save money. My wife likely has postpartum depression, OCD, and ADHD based on screenings, but refuses evaluations or treatment. I accepted her flaws when we married, as she did mine, but I'm at my limit. Some may criticize me for staying, but I'd take a bullet for my kids. I've endured this to shield them from her negativity. Thank you to everyone, supporters, critics, and Reddit friends, followed my journey. After a failed marriage counseling session filled with blame and gaslighting, where my wife said she was last truly happy 12 years ago, before kids with her ex, I realized she might find happiness again, but not with me. On Father's Day, during a family barbecue, she mocked me, saying no woman would want me. Humiliated, I left. The next morning, I finalized my decision and had her served with divorce papers. She had a meltdown, accusing me of turning her family against her, but has since acted like the perfect wife, temporarily as always. I'm seeking full or majority custody, committed to covering the kids' expenses, insurance, private school, medical bills. I'll also support my mother-in-law's treatments, respecting her and my mother's wishes. Alimony isn't common in our state, and my wife can work immediately, so she won't receive it. I'll cover her bills until the divorce is finalized or she's employed. This isn't the dramatic ending some expected, but it's my life. I may update in a few months, depending on whether we go to court. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to leave a comment, hit subscribe, follow for more, and turn on the bell icon so you never miss the next one.